Hello everyone, welcome to a LEGO Minifigures CMF opening video. Today we're having a look at set number 71050, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse minifigures, collectible figures, whatever. You guys know what CMFs are. I have here for you guys a full case of these figures, which should contain 36 minifigures. There are 12 to collect, as you guys can see on the front of the box here. We're going to hopefully see if we get a full set of 3, which is normally what's supposed to be in a full case. But yeah, I managed to find this early at my semi-local Walmart, and I'm very excited to dive into these minifigures. So if you are just as excited as me, make sure to hit that like button as well as subscribe. And with that being said, let's start ripping open some boxes. I should probably also mention that these things officially release on September 1st. But anywho, with that being said, let's open these up. So, they do have the QR code on the bottom there. I'm not going to bother showing the QR code every time, but just there is apps you can go to find on the App Store that can scan these. And if you're in store and you see these sealed, you can just scan it and it'll tell you what theoretically should be inside each box. But yeah, anywho, with that being said, I should probably say which figures I'm most excited for. The Werewolf Spider-Man, Miguel, and if I had to do a third, I don't know, man. Like, the Cowboy one seems very interesting. Those are, like, my top 3 I'm most excited to look at that are not, like, the whole, oh, yeah, I'm excited for Miles. Anywho, let's go and open up our first box. As per usual, I like to keep one of the boxes in near mint condition for my own personal weird collection of boxes of CMFs. So let's see if this is going to be a good opening or not. All right, who is our first minifigure? Oh, wow, that's cool. Okay, so who is this? Oh my goodness, did we get Peter B? Yeah, we got Peter B. Parker. Oh my goodness. So I got pieces all over the place. It's been so long since I filmed one of these videos. Anywho, let's assemble this figure and have a close-up look. That's a nice start. Okay, so for our first minifigure, we have Peter B. Parker in his Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse appearance, which is what these CMFs are based on. They specifically say on the box. So anyone who might have any complaints about, like, oh, it should have been looking like Peter B. Parker, like, I honestly think, like, just take this head and throw it on a regular Spider-Man. You got it. But yeah, I honestly don't mind with this being a CMF inclusion. I'll just throw a reference image on the screen there for us to have a look at for reference with how he appears in the movie. I love the whole dual molded legs, some printing on there that's very well executed. Mayday as a baby figure, I don't know. I get that, but it doesn't really look that well printed. Like, my first initial impressions when building this figure is the print, like, seemed really off, especially with the flesh tone on that red baby head. Don't get me wrong, great to get that baby head in red for the first time, but just, yeah. Also, I could have sworn Mayday had, like, some sort of detail in the movie on, like, her shirt or something like that, so I could be mistaken, but if I'm not mistaken, then what the heck, what's up with that? But I do like this. Is like my first instance of getting a minifigure that uses the baby carrier, so this is cool. I like this. It's cool. I almost if I had to include one other accessory, I would have wished there would have been, like, you know, like a web shooter to give him, because he's very much swinging about. Okay, we'll remove this in a second, but I really want to talk about the base plate. I love when CMFs include unique base plates for the CMFs, like we've gotten white ones and printed ones, whatever, but translucent orange? That is so fitting for this series overall. Like, that's so cool, and I can't wait to see what people use with these base plates. Just thought I'd highlight that for a second. Anyway, let's remove Peter B's accessories so we can have a look at that torso better. There we go. Yeah, no, that bathrobe looks awesome. I love that. That's going to be so fun. I can't wait to see how people, like, use that in their mocks and all that. And he does have an alternate facial expression, which I don't know if the print is off on my copy or not, with the mouth especially, but it's kind of like a concerned look. So, I mean, that's an alternate face. I will be displaying mine like this. Anyway, let's move on to our next figure. All right, yeah, I'm not going to vocalize what figure we're on, but I'm just going to try and go back and forth as much as possible. All right, so, let's see. I do remember with, like, past box openings, normally they package them where it's, like, the same 3 figures in a row. So we're going to see if that's going to be the case or not with this series, or at least with my case. Ooh, that was a very clean box opening. Who is this guy? Can't tell. Let's see. Oh, that's, yeah, that's Spider-Man India. Okay, let's check back in. Continuing the trend of showing an image of, in the movie appearance of Spider-Man India. Yeah, again, dual molded legs, printing on the arms, what I would expect for a CMF, and the accessory of the teacup, because, you know, that was so memed on with the whole chai tea thing. I do like the inclusion of Spider-Cat. That's a nice inclusion. That's kind of like what I'm expecting with accessories, like stuff that, you know, you wouldn't normally get in a set. So having it, while it doesn't necessarily fit to include Spider-Man India, I understand it's just an inclusion to throw in there to add more value, and that's totally okay. Like, that's a cool, simple print / figure to get with this. Again, I'm gonna nitpick. Why the heck is there no webbing? Like, he has such an interesting way of doing his webbing. I would have expected some sort of representation for that, with like a gold, what's the piece? There's a piece I have in mind, but I don't know, just something of a build for his webbing. Like, I know the bangle is like printed on his like arm there, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's seeming like it's going to be a trend with these Spider-Man figs, unfortunately. But one thing I think is really worth noting, besides the fact that this figure does also come with an extra teacup as an extra accessory, is you get an extra minifigure head, which, you know, you slap that on the minifigure, just reveals his identity, which is, I like it. I like the inclusion of the unmasking aspect for this figure. And, okay, I like the headband at the top as well. However, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but the print is a little iffy on this copy here, admittedly. Like, you can see right there, there's a little bit of blue outside of the markings there. Yeah, even right there. So, and like, yeah, it's a nitpick, sure. Most of it is covered by the new and currently exclusive hairpiece, but, you know what I mean? And I guess I should also mention that, you know, removing the hairpiece when he has the Spider-Man mask, they, for some reason, actually went as far as to include printing on the back of the head, which, not necessary for something like this, but nice extra detail. Anywho, let's move on. Okay, I'm expecting these next few packs to be nothing but duplicates, so I'm just gonna rip right into them. Yep, Peter B. That's another Peter B. And these ones should be Spider-Man India's. Yep, that's one. And that's two. Okay, cool. So this next figure should be a new one out of the 12 to collect. Ooh, what was that? Oh, that's Cyborg Spider-Man. Cool. Alrighty, reference image on screen there. We actually have, my mistake, Cyborg Spider-Woman. Again, background character that definitely stuck out in the little montage scene, chase sequence. And I do remember there being like an action figure on store shelves. You know, throw that image on screen too. So, yeah, anywho, there is one new mold piece with this minifigure with the shoulder armor mask, and I'll show that off in a second here. I just want to show off, we got some side leg printing, as well as arm printing, dual mold legs, just very quality looking minifigure. Again, no webs. I know it's like, someone's going to say, like, it's a nothing burger to ask for with these CMS, but I'm like, it's Spider-Man. Come on, give me some webs to sling these figures around in my city or something, you know? Like, and before anyone says, oh, they would never do that. May I remind you about this minifigure, CMF? Okay, anywho, sorry. Yeah, I like that the robot arm is still kicking around and that you can have a brick-built one, which, speaking of, the extra pieces with this figure are these two pieces, for anyone wondering. But, yeah, let's remove all of this fancy-schmancy stuff. And, yeah, here you go. Here's the figure without all that fancy-schmancy stuff, so you can see the facial print a bit better, maybe the bottom of the torso print if you're at all curious about that. And, there is that new molded piece, which, again, it hangs a little loosely, but still pretty cool. But, yeah, no Spider-Man or Spider-Woman logo at the front there. It's just a weird design overall. Very interesting. Yeah, like I said, it hangs a little loosely, but that's fine. Not really much else to say about this minifigure, so let's continue opening up some packs. I've honestly forgotten which one was Spider-Woman, so I'm just going to pull this one just because it's sticking out further. And maybe it might be a new figure. We'll see. I don't have the best memory here. That is a new minifigure. Spider-Bite? Okay, so if I'm being honest, when I first saw images of these CMFs, Spider-Bite was probably one of the ones that just didn't interest me. Having this in hand, first impressions that blew me away was the legs and the arms. It is translucent pink, but it's got the glitter molded in too. Like, I think I can best show it off on the legs. I was not expecting that, but it makes total sense, because, like, I think they explained in the movie Spider-Bite is just a, like, yeah, it's a Spider-Man variant of whatever, but it's just an avatar, like a video game character, essentially. Like, Spider-Bite avatar is the actual character, and then the person who is Spider-Bite, the Peter Parker equivalent, if that makes sense, was just in their home dimension. So whatever. That is still makes sense how this figure turned out, and it's really cool. The accessory is just a book piece, which I gotta put my hand behind so you can see the printed tile. It's got like a little portal thing, as well as like a spider with 42 on it, and I'm pretty sure that's the spider that bit Miles, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Oh, by the way, reference image on the side there. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting my own trend. Oh, I'm so sorry. But yeah, a hairpiece is nice. I could have sworn the buns were lower, but this it's kind of like what they did with Izzy Hawthorne in Lightyear. They had the piece existing, so just use that. It's close enough. And we're gonna have an issue in a second here, and you'll understand why. But anywho, just wanted to show off that alternate facial expression, which is cool. But yeah, since I have the hair piece removed, you do also get an alternate mask piece that you can put on Spider-Bite to make them look more accurate, I guess. And remember what I mentioned about the little buns sticking down? So yeah, that's a little bit of an issue, if you ask me. Like, come on, you already molded it into like a new piece. Just, would it really have killed you to do that? Like, I don't know. Anywho, not really much else to say about this figure other than it's really cool with those printed arms with the translucent. Makes me think we're getting closer and closer to Star Wars Force Ghost minifigures, because this is kind of like what I'd expect out of something like that. Completely unrelated. Anyway, on to the next figure. Okay, lightning round moment, as per usual. These should be the duplicates. Yep, there's one Spider-Bite. This should be Cyborg. Yep. Yep, there's our third Spider-Bite. And the Cyborg. Oops, I had a piece fall out. But yeah, that is another Cyborg. That's cool. All right, new figure time. Let's grab from this end here. All right, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Werewolf Spider-Man? I think I'm the most excited for Werewolf Spider-Man. Let's see. Ooh, that's a cape. Could it be Miguel? No, it's Cowboy Spider-Man. Another one I was excited for. Sweet. Just want to take a quick second here to note, in case anyone's curious, how these little capes or whatever are packaged. So I thought I'd unbox it right here for you guys. There you go. Okay, so I guess the official name is Web Slinger for this guy, and I remember the scene from the movie very well. He was like, on 3, draw! And, like, he has, like, pistols that shoot out webs. Now, I'm gonna keep this a trend. I wish it came with... Now, I know you guys think I'm gonna say I wish that came with webs with this guy, but honestly, no. I wish it came with his pistols. Now, I don't know off the top of my head if LEGO still makes the old Western revolver, but, like, I feel like it wouldn't have hurt to throw it in here. One, maybe two of them. I don't know, maybe they thought it was too controversial or something, I don't know, but yeah, having the lasso, cool, I guess. Dual molded legs with printing on it. All right, cool. The steed admittedly is a little small. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could try and get him to sit on the horse, but that just looks a little goofy. I mean, it kind of works, but it's a little goofy. But I get they wanted to include it as accurate representation as possible. I'm like, hey, I'll take Lego animals any day in a CMF. So, yeah, you do also get that construction paper material cape of sorts, poncho, whatever. So that's a nice little detail. Removing all the accessories and whatnot for you guys. You're able to see a better look at that minifigure torso and facial expression, which honestly, this looks a lot like classic cartoon Spider-Man for a minifigure head. And so I'm like, okay, again, one step closer. Like, for getting a purist classic Spider-Man, you just take any Spider-Man torso, throw this head on it. Wouldn't be that bad to do, I don't think. So that's cool. Anyway, before I forget, the extras with this figure is just the Ninjago half-mask piece in red. Very nice to see they're still making that piece. And I don't think I included the reference image, so here you go. Little reference image for you to, I guess, refer to. Also, I just realized you can kind of lasso the horse. That's funny. Anywho, let's move on to more packs. Okay, I believe we got one more new figure from the top row of this case here. Let's see, who's it gonna be? Oh, no way! We got Werewolf Spider-Man, Werewolf Spider-Man. I don't know why I was doubting myself. Alrighty, just double checking here. Yes, they call him Werewolf Spider-Man in the checklist there, which we'll have a look at later. But anywho, yeah, I like this figure. I think this figure, or at least the character, was shown in Lego Marvel Superheroes, the video game. Either the first or the second one. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But the fact that he made a cameo in the movie, I know all this refers back to first appearance being comics, but it's just like, still, that's just where my mind is reminded to of this character. And it was like, yeah, it would be cool to get as a minifigure one day. So, like, a little over a decade since that video game came out, we can finally have that figure. So it's really cool. We're really well executed. You got dual molded arm and leg here. Oh my goodness, I just realized they dual molded the leg and they included two different dual molded legs. That's so cool. And then they print on the side too with the rips and everything. Overall, very highly detailed minifigure. Reference as well for on-screen appearance. Heck, throw the video game appearance as well there. That's cool. And then, you got the werewolf tail. Actually, let's remove that really quick. There you go. Now you can see the back torso print much clearer, as well as the front torso print there. I like the consistency of keeping most of these Spider-Man minifigures in terms of like the torso similar to what they've done with just in general the Lego Spider-Man minifigure. So this will work greatly if myself or anyone else wants to mix and match these minifigure parts for ones that are just variants of Peter Parker. Now, as much as I love this minifigure, I am going to complain. A, the webbing. B, no accessories at all for this guy. Like, not even a bone or anything. Like, just something fun to throw in here. Like, I honestly would have preferred and found it funnier if they included the cat Spider-Man with this guy, cat and dog kind of thing. Again, I'm trying to mix and match to whatever makes sense to me, but it's just like, really? No accessories? Kind of disappointing. But, yeah, really cool figure overall. Definitely one of my favorites in terms of design so far in this series. Let's continue opening some packs. All right, lightning round moment. We got to open up these ones, which are going to be our duplicates, most likely. Yep, there's a cowboy. Another werewolf. Cowboy. And a werewolf. All right, cool. Now we can do the fancy thing of removing the divider piece of cardboard from here. And I don't know, I think how I did it last time I opened up a case is I angled it kind of funny like this. And I think I went bottom to top. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to grab from the bottom here. And let's see, who do we have? Oh, that's Spider-Punk. All right, then. Okay, here we have Spider-Punk, and I was kind of intrigued how Lego would tackle this. It makes sense they tackled it like this, but like if you see in the movie, you see how he's like got different little glitchy color textures all over him whenever he moves or just exists. So I don't know. I did also want to mention, and I should have mentioned it with Peter B. Parker. Peter B. Parker, Hobie, and I think it was Spider-Man Noir had Fortnite skins that also had Lego styles, which could be argued were our first ever looks at the CMFs. Just wanted to point that out there. So, anywho, as for the details, oh my goodness, like, leg printing, arm printing, all you would expect. Dual molded legs. You do also get a guitar, which is to be expected with this type of minifigure. He's very much shown with a guitar. I don't know if this is the right guitar. Let's see. Image on screen of him strumming his guitar. So, I don't know. Regardless, I do like the whole little Spider-Man little thing on the corner there. Just very much like a very punky minifigure overall. And then you got the back of the torso there. And for his minifigure head, I thought for a second that these shiny effects were like dirt specks or something like that, like dust or whatever on that head. But it turns out it's just to represent his piercings, which is just, my goodness, the detail. Like, holy moly. And then, like, you got his new unique hairpiece, which is, again, very accurate, very chunky piece, mind you. But wouldn't be a Spider-Man minifigure if it didn't come with the mask. And again, it's very well represented, and again, I was so curious how LEGO was going to tackle the mohawk on him, and fairly simple, straightforward. It's a rubber piece with a stud connection there, which looks wonky on its own, but once you, like, slap it on a minifigure, it just works. Now, I would want a nitpick that I wish that there was something to kind of cover up that exposed top of the stud there, but, I mean, I'm not going to really worry about it too much. This figure looks great enough as it is. So, yeah. And, of course, you know, for accessories, we're missing the webs, but the guitar is a very nice accessory. Also, where the heck is his, like, multiversal little pad on his arm? Because didn't he have that? I know he, like, threw it off at the end of the movie, but, like, that would have been a fun detail to put on there. I don't know. Anywho, on to the next minifigure. Okay, next pack. Let's see. Maybe it's an obscure character this time. Nope, but it is an interesting one. Miles the Prowler. I'm just going to say it right now. This is going to be a minifigure that could be slept on because, I mean, to be fair, this version of Miles only showed up at, like, the end of the film for, like, I don't know, a few minutes. But it's very obvious it's going to be a part of the third installment, and I feel like people are just going to want to buy, like, I don't know, Spider-Punk or Miguel, and they're not going to want this figure until the next movie comes out. So I'm just going to tell you right now, just whether you are on the fence about this minifigure or not, just try and track this one down. Like, it's not that bad in detail, but I'm almost willing to guarantee it's going to be rising in popularity when the new movie comes out, when it comes out. But yeah, as for the accessories, you have a record, which looks a little weird to me, honestly, for a record, but I guess it's like in motion. I could be mistaken, but it's an interesting choice for an accessory, not one I think should or rather needed to be included, but hey, I'll take it. Why not? You do get 2 of the gauntlet pieces that you can put on him. I just didn't bother because I wanted to show off that little record piece. You do get a construction paper material to make up the back of the little hood, I guess? I'm not exactly sure what to call that, but removing all this fun stuff, you're able to get a slightly better look at the minifigure with that not dual molded, the new mold of the mask hairpiece, which I'm honestly surprised they didn't make 2 pieces, because it looks like it could have been, you know, just have it kind of wrap around the minifigure somehow, and then connect to the hairpiece. Whatever, I don't know, I'm not a Lego designer, but yeah, you can remove that and it reveals Miles' face. No double-sided facial expression, which, again, I think it doesn't need to be necessary because you have just that kind of making it possibly exposed. But anywho, you do have the option to swap out for just the regular hairpiece, which looks okay. Not the best, but it works for me at least. And before I forget, there's your screen reference there for how Miles Prowler looks for you guys. So, yeah, not much to say about this guy other than it's a cool figure. Don't sleep on it. Let's move on to opening more packs. All right, you guys know the drill. We're going to speed run these few packs here because they're going to be duplicates, I think. Yeah, there's Spider-Punk. Miles Prowler. Spider-Punk. And the final Miles Prowler. Yup. Alright, new minifig time. Let's grab from this side. Alright, let's see. Can I just randomly guess? Let's see. Who am I missing? Screw it. I'm just gonna guess. I think it's gonna be Spider-Gwen. Aw, can you imagine? I don't even know who this guy is. Okay, so reference picture on the side there. I don't know anything about this guy, which I guess is a good and a bad thing for being a CMF inclusion. I mean, I'll definitely research after I'm done this recording session to see who this character is, but yeah, just no idea, and just seems like a really inclusion to me. Again, I don't know anything about the character. I'll probably know more after this, but yeah, looks all right. Don't really remember this guy in the movie because probably a background character like a lot of the other figures in the CMF, but just still. Now, I will say though, despite not knowing anything about this guy, I think that this has a lot of opportunities here as a minifigure. We get a new backwards hat mold with a little spider logo, sure, but I could see a lot of people using that for sig figs, or just in general, if LEGO keeps using this piece, which most likely they will, in different colors and prints, it could be used for sig figs. And then I could see people like maybe ripping off the arms of this guy's torso and using that for a sig fig because it's a hoodie with Spider-Man logo peeking out. You know, just, it's very cool. But the thing that really interests me the most as a new piece is the crutches. I think that's what they're called. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. These little new crutch pieces that connect to the minifigure. And I'm excited to see these as well in different colors. But just, I feel like we could see these in like Lego City. Lego City is normally the kind of thing where they use pieces like this. Or just, in general, other themes, sure. But just, I'm intrigued to see what is used with these crutches in the future, as well as like build opportunities. But yeah, overall, really solid minifigure. Not sure what else I'd include for accessories outside of, like, you know, the webbing. But I honestly, in my head canon, the webbing comes out of the crutches, and that's how he kind of swings around, which is cool and all. So yeah, anywho, let's move on to the next minifigure. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, we're down to like the really well-known minifigures left to go, which makes sense. So it could either be Miles, Gwen, or Miguel. I'm really hoping for Miguel, but I'm kind of hoping we get Miguel last, because he's like the one I'm most anticipating, I think. Anywho, that's left to open. So with that being said, let's see. Ooh, yeah, oh man, if I had gone to the right, I would have guessed so right on the random guess. That's so funny. All right, here we have Spider-Gwen. This is going to be a very obvious favorite for a lot of people. It is the most detailed version of Spider-Gwen to date, which is funny because we did get another Across the Spider-Verse set before these CMFs that came with Spider-Gwen, and yeah, people will be buying this CMF just to swap out with this set if they even kept the set. I know I parted mine out just to keep certain minifigures or whatever, but yeah, I like the dual molded legs with the printing on the side and front of the legs. I like the arm printing, but again, I'm gonna nitpick here. You got that little multiversal little wrist watch of sorts. Like, it, no matter whether or not they take it off in the movie, it's still like an iconic thing to me, at least. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get it, you're trying just to make the most detailed minifigure, whatever, but this is based on Across the Spider-Verse, okay? Like, throw that little wristwatch on there. Like, that's a part of the character, as far as I'm concerned, from this movie, regardless how significant or insignificant it is. That's just my nitpick as well for that. The accessory of the photograph is a nice one overall. I can see a lot of people using this in their mocks, removing the hood piece. No real back minifigure print whatsoever, but you do also get an alternate head for this character. Which, man, let me tell you, again, people will be buying this figure just to improve their collection. That new hairpiece with the dyed highlights in pink, so cool overall. And of course, you got a double-sided facial expression for Gwen there. Again, I like the piercing detail, very nice. Now, for the hairpiece, when I first saw this, I was like, is this dual molded? I'm pretty safe to conclude it is just a print. It's not dual molded. Like, it just doesn't seem consistent enough to be a dual mold. It just feels like it's a print. Again, I could be wrong, but overall, very cool detail for this figure. And yeah, with those nitpicks aside, of course, missing the web piece. Should have had the web piece, as well as that little wristwatch piece. Yeah, only complaints I have for this figure. Anyway, moving on. Okay, lightning round time, just to confirm the duplicates. Yep, Sun Spider. Oop. We'll leave that like that for now. Spider Gwen. Sun Spider. And Spider Gwen? Yep, that's Spider Gwen. Okay. New minifig time. So we went from the left last time. We're going to go from the right. Again, I'm hoping it's Miles, because I want to end on Miguel, because it's one of the last ones I'm hoping for, but let's find out. Bummer. Okay, it's Miguel. Oh, I'm excited. It's Miguel, my favorite one I was looking for. Anywho, just want to quickly mention the cape here is actually a hard plastic. It's not the first time they've done capes like this, but just thought it was really interesting, because this is pretty much, as far as I can recall, the first instance they've done something like this in a CMF. And essentially, you just got to pop it out like so. So, cool. I like that. So here we have Miguel O'Hara, or Spider-Man 2099. And, okay, yeah, I was definitely hyped for this figure. We've only had one other instance to 2099 Spider-Man, and that figure, oh my goodness, worth so much, especially after the Spider-Verse movies came out. So it's definitely going to help the aftermarket in terms of, like, people getting their hands on this figure, especially with this being the more movie-accurate one, for the most part. Why? Well, again, that little wristwatch. Where is it? Where is it? Like, he is the guy who made the little wristwatches in the Spider-Verse. Where is it? Like, it's cool you got the little things on his elbows that are like the little daggers printed on the minifigure there, but, like, where? Where's the wristwatch? You know, like, come on. Out of all the minifigures, I would have expected he would have had that the most out of any of the figures with this series. I digress anyway. The plastic cape, very nice. It's probably the best way they could have gotten a translucent looking cape. Looks a little off in person, but, like, I get what they're trying to go for, and it's fine. You could totally remove the cape like he does in the first few minutes of the movie if you really desire. You can see a bit of the back torso print there. His only accessory is his little AI assistant. I think her name is Lyra. I could be mistaken there, but that is printed on a micro figure piece there. Pretty well represented, I would say, especially the fact that you get two of them in case if you somehow lose the other. So I'm almost tempted to keep this in my own collection just in case, rather than just throwing it on the Bricklink store. But you do also get the alternate minifigure head, which, yeah, you could just easily swap out. And he's got an angry expression or just a little confident smirk there. Very nice overall. Yeah, really solid minifigure. Definitely one I was looking forward to get my hands on, and I'm sure a lot of others are going to as well, because, again, that other one is very pricey in the aftermarket. Also, yeah, really quick, there's a little on-screen comparison for you for how he appears in the movie. Again, where's that wristwatch? But, yeah, I am going to say it. I know you guys are sick of this in this video, but I'm still going to say it. A red little rope piece to represent his webbing. Unless it's orange. I don't know. It's really up to whoever does debate in the comment section, I guess. But to have that as a web piece would have been nice. Because, just having a micro figure, despite the detail on it, just, come on, Anywho, let's move on to the next minifigure. Okay, since we're down to our last minifigure, obviously, we're just going to open up all these just to confirm if we have a full set of 3 figures, essentially. So this one, yep, that's a Miles Morales. So these last 2 should be more Miguel's and Miles. Yeah, there's Miguel. Yep, there's the final Miguel there. Yep, Miles. And then finally, another Miles. That is a full confirmed 3 set of figures. All right, let's have a look at that Miles Morales minifigure. So here is the final minifigure, Spider-Man, aka Miles Morales. This figure, again, isn't one I was necessarily hyped for in this CMF series, but seeing it in hand, it's okay. And I've been sitting here for like the past few minutes trying to rack my brain in terms of what I remember from the movie as to what they could have done if they had to include a Miles Morales minifigure for like instead of like a Miles with a charged up bioelectricity. And outside of like maybe a ripped up battle damaged Miles Morales, I don't know if there's any others that are based on Across the Spider-Verse that they could have done for Miles. So, I mean, okay, fine, it's cool and all. The accessory inclusion of just a regular spider, like, not that they could have, but, like, there's no printing saying it's, like, the Earth that he was sent to, or, because this is obviously supposed to represent the spider that bit him. And it just makes me think, okay, why even bother including the spider at all? Like, we already had Gwen included with this series, have a photograph, which was shown hiding out in her drum kit. Why not show another thing from this movie that shows that he misses Gwen, which is the notebook? Like, would have been, like, what, 2-3 other extra pieces for this figure, which honestly would have made all the difference. Like, I don't know, just would have been a much better accessory than 2-cent spider that comes in everything. You know, this is CMF. So, anywho, with that being said, this figure has an alternate head that you can swap it out with. And you can see there that he's got an angry expression, as well as just a calm-looking face. So that's not bad. So, nice inclusion. Definitely needed with what this pattern of CMS was going for. And also, since I brought it up that I parted out the Spider-Verse set, I think it's worth showing off because I know someone's going to be curious how the two compare to each other. Because, again, this is the exclusive version with the bioelectricity versus the one that comes in the Spider-Verse set. So, as you guys can see, you know, with the eyes on the mask and all that, and the bioelectricity all around. But you also have the leg printing. So, I'm pretty sure, like, if you happen to get a duplicate of this guy, you can just use the leg printing legs to swap out with this. Other than that, it just pretty much looks like the same torso, just reused in terms of the back torso print there, which is fine. I don't mind. This is basically the same figure, just different look or whatever to it. So definitely the better Spider-Man. It's just in terms of accessories, like, what are we doing here? So just thought I'd mention that. And yeah, with that being said, let's have a look at that checklist that comes with every CMF. Checklist, the thing that is such a staple with these collectible minifigures to show you what figures there are to still get your hands on. Comes nicely packaged in that box. And you open it up and you can see all the minifigures. And oh my goodness, I am so glad. I remember the last time they did a Marvel CMF, I'm pretty sure I was complaining that with the figures that came with alternate heads that it showed that. But I think my biggest gripe with the Marvel CMFs before was that, like, these were named characters. Why don't you bother? Like, there's enough room to put text for the names. And I am so glad they do that. Because, again, let's say you're some kid and your folks are like, oh, I don't want you going on the internet. You know, like, this is great for a kid to know what to properly call these figures, especially for someone like me who's an adult who just maybe doesn't know that the official name for Cowboy Spider-Man is Web Slinger, or that this guy's name is Sun Spider. It's so good. I'm glad they finally went through that extra level of detail, and I hope it carries on with the licensed CMFs. If it carries out to, like, the regular CMFs, that's great, but, like, for licensed ones like this, yes, keep it like this. It's perfect. I love it. And then on the back there, you just have a quick assembly for, like, say, Peter B. Parker, Cyborg, Spider-Woman, and the Cowboy Spider-Man, and then a little win with the QR code. I kind of wish the QR codes came with a thing for you to get VIP points, but I know I'm reaching for that. I really doubt they'll do that. But anywho, you can take that with you if you want to go out in the wild and just start hunting for some CMFs, but don't really have as much impact as they used to when they came in bags, which, you know, it is what it is. It's still a nice inclusion overall, but yeah, like I said, there are apps out there for you to scan the bottom of the box to get the figure you're looking for. So anywho, let's move on to my final thoughts. So overall, glad to see that a full case of these CMFs includes 3 full sets of these 12 figures. I have my nitpicks with each individual minifigure, as I stated in this video, but for the most part, as always, they're the most detailed figures we're probably ever going to get from LEGO of these certain characters, and they, for the most part, knocked them out of the park. Again, few nitpicks here or there. In terms of figures that I think probably shouldn't have been included or could have been used for something else, I'm gonna have to throw Sun Spider under the bus. Now, again, I don't know much about the character, and I'm sure I'm probably gonna come around and be like, no, Sun Spider can stay, but just either way, I think Sun Spider we probably could have done without, and probably could have had, which, again, I don't know for sure if LEGO's going to tackle third movie sets, the next Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, I think is what it's called, sets for on that movie. I'd like to think they would, but if they don't, I mean, I'm in the mindset of if they don't, I would have loved a Spot minifigure where he's, like, inverted colors. I think that would have been a really cool minifigure inclusion. Again, time will tell, but that's just where my mindset's at. Again, if in the future that is the case, cool, whatever, Sun Spider can stay, but that's the only, like, oh, I wish that, whatever, kind of moment. But yeah, as for, like, my top 3 minifigures after opening up these, I still think, like, the 3 I said at the beginning that I was most excited for are my top 3 favorites. For the most part, I think the one that surprised me the most was Spider Bite, and it came close to overthrowing one for that top 3 spot, just for the sake of how cool it is. In terms of, like, the dual or the glitter molded arms and legs. It's just so interesting. But yeah, definitely recommend picking up these minifigures if you're a fan of the Spider-Verse movies or just Spider-Man in general. I'd be curious, which is your favorite figure in this series, or just your favorite Spider-Man figure in general? And if you are actually going to hunt down a full set of these, I'd be curious to hear. Anyways, guys, I hope this video was informative for you guys in terms of a full case, how many are in a full case, and just what the characters look like. Yeah, if you did, make sure to hit that like button. It'd be very much appreciated, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Anyways, thank you everyone so much for watching, and I will see you all in a future video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.